And people who have been accumulating weapons for years, like me, have, I get hundreds of weapons that are unregistered. And believe me, they'll be put to good use, I can promise you that.
We'll be right back after this 4-minute break with Bob Chapman. And the phone number, if you'd like to get a complimentary copy of it, 877-479-8178. Back in 4. Stay tuned. Stand for it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's Eric Clapton. I'm told. I don't know, but that's what I'm told. Welcome back to the Power Hour, and thank you for joining us today. We're talking to Bob Chapman. He's got some pretty scary, well, I think it's financially very scary information, and I think he's probably right. I think the downturn is going to come, and it's not going to go back again. Bob Chapman, who is the editor of the International Forecaster newsletter, and you can get a complimentary copy by calling the phone number 877-479-8178, 877-479-8178, or go to theinternationalforecaster.com. Bob, you say that you believe between, I think it was September and December of next year, you think that the ultimate crash is going to come?
That's what the Federal Reserve says. I don't even have to guess at it. That's their opinion. I mean, the Federal Reserve is the core, the nexus of the emanation of power in America. The 12 Federal Reserve banks own the privately owned Fed, and their chief shareholders are American and European bankers and have been since 1913 in its inception. And that's why Ron Paul wants to put them out of business and expose what they've been doing, which is looting the American public for 96 years. But they were the ones I got the information from. Now, these plans could change, and I will update people as we go along. There's another big meeting coming up in about 7 days, and I'll be clued in on what went on at that meeting as well. And this is real. This is not what Premarin Panama, whatever his name is, has to say out of Russia. And the Russians are very smart people, incidentally, and they have excellent counterintelligence. But you also have to remember that part of what they're putting out is propaganda. They want to weaken America. They don't like what happened to them. They like to be in first or second place. Now they, have to contend with China as well as the U.S. as far as power is concerned. And so they have an axe to grind, and you got to look at it that way. I spent years in counterintelligence doping out what they were up to, and we were pretty successful at it. And so you got to look at things that Russia and others have to say and look at both sides of the equation.
Well, I guess my question is, why would he be so firm about his statement that we are bringing, or why would he be saying that we're bringing troops back from to the U.S.? And I think all we have to do is confirm that with some of our military people, and that'll tell us yes or no, it is happening or it's not happening, and to what extent the pressure is on to return troops back to the U.S.
Well, I think you've just seen the commitment of an additional 35,000 troops to Afghanistan, and the main reason for that is there's an argument going on between the Pentagon and the Illuminists and the people in government as to whether the action should continue. And the military want it to continue at the top, and the powers behind government want to continue. The administration obviously is under intense heat to stop it. And yes, the president has ceded to 35,000 troops. But the big issue, it really is 93% of the world's heroin. I mean, they're making $300 or $400 billion a year. And the people who are controlling that, which is MI6 and the CIA, MI6 belongs to the British. And they're the ones who are running the drugs through Albania and into Russia and to all of Europe and even to the United States. And so there's big profit there. And that's one of the reasons they don't want to stop that conflict. But there are people who are military people who are going to be returning from Iraq because they're cutting down, and they will be returning to the United States. And that's a normal secession.
Well, yeah,
so we'll
but
see.
What he is saying, what Panarin is saying, is that there's going to be 1 million troops returned back to the U.S. because of this fear of the civil outbreak in the U.S. So I've opened up the phone lines. Anytime there is an active duty person has knowledge one way or the other, if we are returning our troops back to the U.S., that would give a good show of support to know if there's going to be some kind of concern about this civil war in late January. And why late January, I don't know. Would you have any reason as to why they chose late January, Bob?
I don't know, but I do know there are people returning. There's people returning all the time. And they know what's going on, believe me, all throughout the military, all the ranks.
Okay, we got to take a 3-minute break. We'll be back with Ted Anderson, find out what happened to gold and silver. Stay tuned. Get back to Bob Chapman. Bob Chapman, who is the editor of the International Forecaster newsletter. Bob, are you thinking that we've probably hit a bottom in the gold, or are we going to keep going down for a while?
Well, first of all, over a week ago, we had a correction, somewhat similar, and gold came right back again. And when you have corrections like that, and they're very quick, they're very advantageous for people who own gold and silver and are on the long side of the market. Now, we've had this happen again this past Friday, and then again, we're down again today. Gold's come back off its highs by about $100 an ounce. A normal correction in this area would be 100, 125. So we could swing down through 11, 11, 10, 11, 20 without any harm being done to the intermediate as well as the long term. You can't use short-term charts in these markets because the government's manipulating them all the time. And so, with that said, this is a good time to buy. We could get a little lower, but I don't think so. I think Ted's right, and it happened quickly again. It's over with. One of the things that the shares were telling us on Friday was that, yeah, we're down a little bit, but the shares usually run ahead of the bullion markets, more sophisticated buyers. And the shares were saying, we're getting close here. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do today. They don't start being reported until just 15 minutes ago. And so we'll see how they end up. We'll get a feeling as to what's going to happen over the next few days. But gold and silver are not going any lower. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there who are not in the gold and silver market because 96% of newsletter writers have been telling their subscribers, and of course others read the publications as well, that gold's going to go to 700 or 800 or 900. And that's been going on for the last 3 months. And of course they've been wrong.
And you're saying that over 90% of the newsletters are recommending that people not get gold?
96%, and that's per Hulbert, Hulbert,
wow,
which is a service that rates these people. Now, I haven't seen any further numbers come out in the last month, but that's about what it was. And so they've got their subscribers are certainly going to be very unhappy. And so those people are what you would call sold out bulls, and they'll come back into the market again to feed the market as it goes to the upside. But I still am looking by the beginning of April for $1,650, perhaps $1,550, but in that range. And I think by the end of the year we could be $2,500 to $3,000.
Let me open up the phone lines real quick here. 800-259-9231. If you'd like to talk to Bob Chapman, 800-259-9231. I would think those people would already be a little bit unhappy with their newsletter authors, given the fact that gold is just going crazy and, crazy upward. And watching television, even Fox Business Journal, ridiculous program that it is, says things like, and I say that because of all the 24-year-old experts they have on the program, but they say, stocks are up 30 points today. Oh, yeah, gold hit a new high. But I mean, it says as if gold isn't even hitting the highs that it's hitting. It's not even getting the attention. Do they think if they don't tell people that, they're not going to focus on it or buy it?
That's right. And you know, Fox contacted me last week and wanted me to go on, and I had to refuse them because of my scheduling. But it's interesting that they came to me to go on to one of their programs.
I think it'd be worth a schedule change if it were me.
Well, no, these people, like yourself, depend upon me to be there when I say I'm going to be there, and I'm not going to do that.